New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez pleaded not guilty earlier today in a new indictment charging him with obstruction of justice. This comes after the senator was charged last year with taking bribes from New Jersey businessmen to impede law enforcement probes they faced and illegally acting as an agent of the Egyptian government.
Joining us now with reaction, Newsmax contributors and former U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C., Joe diGenova, along with former senior Justice Department official and also Newsmax contributor Vic Toensing. All right, Joe and Vic, always great to have you with us, especially on a Monday. Joe, let's start with you as a former U.S. Attorney. How do you expect the senator's case to play out?
Well, the Southern District of New York is where the senator was indicted. And remember, that was the most important decision they made, not to indict him in New Jersey, because in the last case against him, it ended in a hung jury because he had sympathetic New Jersey jurors. This time we'll have New York jurors. And now that Mr. Uribe, one of his original co-defendants, has pleaded guilty and agreed to testify against him, this case is looking darker and darker for Menendez, which is why I think he decided to announce he's not running for re-election.
Vic, your thoughts on it?
Well, I think I'm going to make a political point because I did work in the Senate. It's interesting. These dumb Republicans in the House had to vote out George Santos because he was so corrupt. And the Republicans are saying nothing in the Senate. And actually, for the first time, I think they're doing a smart thing, because if they tried to oust Menendez, the Democratic governor of New Jersey would just appoint his wife to take his place because she wants to run for the seat.
Yes,
he sits there like Menendez sits there like a festering sore. So it's actually better for the Republicans to have him there with Schumer just saying he hasn't lived up to our standards. That of course is not a standard at all.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Maybe he'll step down. I know the calls for that. They're only going to get louder and louder, especially with Phil
absolutely.
Murphy's his wife waiting in the wings here. Continue the legal conversation here with Newsmax contributors Joe diGenova and Victoria Toensing. They are still here with us here. We got a big day tomorrow, Joe. Let's start with you. Robert Hur, special counsel. He's going to testify, we think, for about 3 hours here.
Up to 3 hours.
He was the man that blew the lid on Joe Biden. Well, I don't think he blew the lid. The first man to put it from the government on paper here. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, Mr. Hur is going to reiterate what he said in his report, that our current president, President Biden, is a criminal, that he violated the Espionage Act multiple times over the last 40 years, that he illegally possessed documents, he violated the law, but that he's too mentally incompetent to stand trial, but apparently competent enough to be president of the United States. So we basically have a fully certified incompetent crook in the White House.
Wow. What do you think, Vic?
Well, just to make it clear, because Hur is a political animal who went after Trump in his report, not for 1 second, not for 1 second, not one document was Joe Biden ever allowed to have in his possession until he was president of the United States. Unlike Donald Trump, who under the Presidential Records Act was allowed to have records and negotiate which ones he got to keep. So I would ask him, and the Republicans are generally not too good at cross-examination, but I would ask him, why is it that you're not charging Joe Biden, not now while he's president, but at least leave it open for later after he isn't president? Because I was a drug prosecutor. If somebody had cocaine, that was per se illegal. It was per se illegal for Joe Biden to have one document. And he had hundreds in various places.
In his garage underneath his prized Corvette.
Yeah, and not even as the president, again, as Vic pointed out. Right.
Joe, Vic, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
You bet. See you soon.